It doesn't bother you. It doesn't bother you. You're not gonna look at it. Don't even look at it. The hashtag's in the wrong place. It's like ask space hashtag EV. How? No, no, it's wrong. Even the hashtag part is wrong, and then there's nothing. And then there's nothing. And then there's nothing. Just can people please follow the rules? The rules are here for a reason, so that we can get shit done. Okay, I'm over it. Will you do Cataclysm someday? Well, you know what? Cataclysm, maybe someday. Bloodbath, probably never. But Cataclysm is within the realm of possibility at some point, much later. I do gotta practice a lot, though. Can you give smaller YouTubers a shout out? Maybe shout out somebody with subs less than 1K subs. Yeah, that's a valid point. I'll think about that. Or maybe me. Oh! Exposed! I see where you're getting at. Oh no! I'm not gonna shout out you just because you're trying to get yourself shouted out. I caught you. I caught you. Or maybe you. Or maybe you. Self-serving son of a bee. Get to the back of the line. Eric, I always wanted to know, how do you get famous on YT? Because I do a lot of efforts, but I can't. I want to be like you. Well, you gotta give up a lot of stuff if you want to get big on YT. I gave up a lot. It's all about making sacrifice to meet the goals you want in life. And I know you're saying you're putting in a lot of effort, but you gotta put in more. The thing is, you gotta have this mentality, is there's someone that's working harder than you are, and so you gotta outwork those people. And so because when you think like that, it just means there's always someone that could potentially be working harder, so work your goddamn ass off. Look at people who you want to aspire to be like. How can you be like them? How can you put your own spin on it? Be yourself, as well as, you know, trying to make something that is very watchable for a lot of viewers, right? There's a lot of things to take into consideration. First, you get the work ethic, and then as you start working on it very, very hard, you start to think to yourself, well, now how can I do this smarter and better, smarter and better? But first, you need to get that crazy work ethic. Once you have that, you should be able to do it. You gotta work hard though, and there's gonna be many thankless years. I was working on this 6 hours a day. Some days I took off, right? Because I was working full time as well. I was working 40 hours a week, and then I'd come home and work like 6 hours a day on YouTube. And I did that for like 2 years before I ever made any real money. Like, I think after 2 years, I made like $100 one month, and I was like, oh baby, $100, I can buy a video game, yeah! Work hard though, you can do it, but you gotta work your goddamn ass off. The difference between people that made it and people that didn't make it is the people that made it, they pushed through all their dark days, and they were successful regardless of those dark days. People that didn't make it, they had a couple dark days and they gave up. Or a few, you know. You gotta keep on doing it. You gotta keep on going. And you can. You gotta get the right mentality though. If a fan came to South Korea and they were there for a week, would you spend a day with them? Well, I don't know if I'd spend a whole day. I mean, I have like a life here, right? And I'm gonna be maybe teaching part-time next year. I know people would like to meet me if they came to South Korea, but it's so hard for me to just give up a whole day of my life. Maybe I would meet someone for like a coffee, you know, but I don't know if I'd like actually have a meetup. Now, the thing is, if I'm gonna meet people, I'd like it in a controlled environment, like I go to PAX South and people meet me there, right? That's gonna be cool. But in terms of just like a meeting like one-on-one, I don't know if that's really like appropriate, right? Of me just being like, hey, you're coming, let's meet, right? One-on-one, that's like, it's a little bit weird to me. So I guess my answer would be no if someone came to South Korea. But if a few people were coming to South Korea and people wanted to have like a meetup or something, I'd be down with that. But one-on-one, I don't think so. Would you smooch a ghost? Oh man, if she was a banging hot ghost like those Fatal Frame ghosts, especially the one with her neck like... I would be all over it. What would you call a skilled player in GD like demon-wise? Well, I don't consider myself a skilled player. I consider myself like good at the game, but not great at the game. So, if you're talking about like a skilled person that's mastered the craft of demons in Geometry Dash, then you're looking at people like Guitar Hero Styles, Brandon Larkin, Riot, Serve, Trusta, all those guys, various others, Maxis as well, right? You're looking at people like that. For me, I'm good. I'm good, but I'm not a skilled player. You know, if you asked me some stuff about the meta, there would be things I don't know about. There's some things I know, but there's some things I don't know, where people could be like, oh, well, you know, the difference between 144 Hz and 60 Hz is just more frames, and you have a certain amount of frames for like a one icon jump space, and they could talk about that kind of thing. I don't think I can. I've never had to, because I've never played levels that are like ridiculously hard. I mean, Forest Temple Theory of Everything 2 version 2, some people consider them medium or hard demons. Yeah, they were hard. That was a lot to overcome for me. But am I skilled? Ooh, I don't know. Do you think Theory of Firepower is still hard? No, I didn't even think it was hard when I first came to it. It was strange, when I beat that level, a lot of people were like, oh, congrats, you beat that hard demon, and I was like, what? That wasn't that hard. Theory of Firepower was a nice challenge, but it wasn't like a hard demon. I mean, now I could probably beat it way quicker than when I beat it initially, right? And even then I didn't have that hard of a time with it, considering I wasn't that good at the game. That was before Theory of Everything 2 version 2. So, I never thought it was that hard of a level. Why won't you play Deadly Clubstep? Deadly Clubstep has been on my radar recently. Maybe I'll come back to it. It would be a nice challenge. It's weird for me. The thing about Deadly Clubstep, the thing that gives me a hard time is the first rocket section. Not when you're the fat rocket, it's when you're the mini rocket and you gotta go through those like jump rings and portals. I have a hard time with that. The rest of the level I don't have that hard of a time with. It's very strange, and I don't know why I have a hard time. It seems like a lot of people that talk about that level don't have that hard of a time with that part. I don't know. Something's wrong with me. Can you play Super Metroid? I love Super Metroid. I've played the shit out of Super Metroid, but I don't know if I'll bring it to the channel. Maybe I'll stream it one day. How long have you been learning Korean, and how well can you speak it? I've been learning Korean. Well, when I first moved here, I didn't learn much. I just learned the very basics and then stopped because I was so busy with my job. My job was crazy the first year I was here. But I started learning in the second year, only a little bit, and then in the third and fourth year, I started really working hard on it, and then I brought myself up from a beginner level, and a beginner level is around knowing like 1,000 to 2,000 words, I think, and like some basic grammar, and then I've bumped up to intermediate where I know a little bit more than that. Maybe not 2,000, that's a lot, maybe like 1,000 is beginner, and then I've jumped up somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000, maybe 2,000, no, maybe less, and I know some more advanced grammar, but I still have a lot to learn. So I consider myself an intermediate speaker, not an advanced speaker. An advanced speaker, when you're going into the advanced portion of learning, you're starting to get into fluency, and I'm not fluent, but I'm pretty good. I can get around, I can have conversations. If I don't know something, I can ask in Korean what that was, we can talk it out, and I can get things done, I can converse with people. So I consider myself an intermediate learner. I haven't really been studying recently though, and I gotta study some more. I've been trying to get back on the exercise train. I've been trying to exercise more and get my body healthier because I stopped for a while. Trying to do that once that's like routine, you know, I've been doing it for a month, and then I'm gonna get back into Korean as well. I need to start getting myself busy with things outside of YouTube. I need to start like bettering myself. On YouTube, I'm working hard on it, and I'm really enjoying it's my job, right? And I'm really enjoying it, but I need to start doing things outside of YouTube to better myself, right? Like studying Korean and exercising, which is what I'm working on doing right now. So it's kind of an interesting question because it's something I've been thinking about doing again, which I haven't actually studied in a while. I still learn new words though. I still talk to my girlfriend or family in Korean and I ask them, what's that? And when I'm out and about, if I don't know something, I ask what the word is for that. So I'm still kind of organically learning. But I have a long ways to go, and I should really be spending some time sitting down and studying new grammar patterns and stuff, and I have a lot I should be doing with study. Have you ever considered playing old school games, like maybe old school horror or any of your favorites from older consoles? I used to, but they didn't ever do really well in views. People didn't like watching them. I might bring some to the channel eventually, kind of like Game Grump style. We'll see. Maybe I'll try it again because it's been a while. Maybe there will be more of a fan base for it now than what there was like 2 years ago. So you are Canadian, but you live in Korea. That is correct. Where would you rather live other than Korea? Well, that would be definitely Japan. I love Japan. When I traveled there this summer, I had such a good time. I could see myself living there. It's very clean. I like the residential areas. I like the way they're set up. I like the houses. They're cool. I would love a place in Japan. Japan is amazing. Well, at least the Kansai region where I went to. It was very cool. I could definitely see myself living there. You know, it's very strange because I do like Canada, but I like living abroad more because I like experiencing new things all the time. You know, even though I've been in Korea for a while, so it's not really like new. It's still really interesting to me. Where back home, there is some interesting stuff still, but I get bored very easily when I'm in Canada. And so I like to live abroad. But, you know, that might change one day when I start a family, right? Maybe one day I'll want to go back to Canada, get a house, and live a more normal life, right? But for now, yeah, I just like living abroad, you know? And Japan or Korea are two places that I could easily see myself living. Out of all the countries I've been to, I love Korea and Japan a lot. I still like all the other countries that I visit, but you know, Korea and Japan, I can see myself actually living there. Although when I was in Malaysia, when I was in Kuala Lumpur, I thought to myself, I could live here as well. If I was gonna live in Southeast Asia, I'd probably choose Malaysia. Yeah, I really like Malaysia a lot. How many beanies do you have and which one is your favorite? Oh man, that's so hard. I really like this one. This one's classic EVW. I've had this one for a long time. I love the design on it. The thing is, the one that is my favorite is this black one I wore in the last video. I love that one a lot, but it's being washed right now. It's in the laundry. And so I can't show it to you guys. I really love that one, but there's so many that I like. And if you just look at the last like 10 videos or so, you'll see which ones that I like the most, because the ones I like the most, I tend to wear more than the others. Although I still love all the beanies that I have. I don't think there's a beanie that I have that I don't really like. Hey Eric, what do you love more, GD or anime? That's very odd. It's a very odd question. GD is a very specific game. It's like the name of a game. Anime is a category, a broad category of Japanese cartoons. You can't really compare those two, you know? But if you asked me, what do I spend more time on, video games or anime? The answer would be I spend more time by a long shot on video games. And anime is like a side hobby, while video games is my main hobby. But in terms of like GD versus anime, you can't compare those. It's impossible to like compare which one you like more, right? This isn't even Ask EVW, but I have to put it in here. Xenogears mentioned, I'm having a tear in my eye. There are people besides me who love/remember that game. It brings a tear to my eye too, baby! Oh god, yes! Long Mace, I love you. What is your favorite food in Korea? I love samgyetang because I like chicken. How many bottles of soju can you drink? This is a very common question in Korea, like how many bottles of soju can you drink? It's usually the measure of how much you can handle your liquor. I would say 2 bottles gets me like happily drunk. Like 2 bottles is prime, it's very nice. 3 bottles, I'm starting to get into the shady area of, am I gonna remember some bits from the night before? So yeah, like 2 is comfortable if I'm gonna have a night out with my friends drinking. Although it also depends on like how long you'll be drinking, you know? If you're gonna be drinking from like mid-afternoon to night, obviously extend that by a little bit because you have a lot more time to flush the alcohol out of your system. But if it's just like a 2 to 3 hour night at like a bar or like a restaurant than a bar, yeah, like 2 bottles. 2 bottles, yeah. Someone that can drink a lot of alcohol in Korea is called a judang. Judang is someone that is very good at drinking. What were you gonna do before you became famous on YouTube? I really wanted to be a game designer, but I kind of scrapped that halfway into my stay in Korea. I was gonna save up money and go back to Vancouver, go to game design school, but it's really hard to become a famous game designer these days, and so I was like, ah, screw it. So I just wanted to become fluent in Korean and then immerse myself in society here and just see where that took me. You know, maybe perhaps one day getting a job teaching at a university or a translator or just something outside of the norm for foreigners to do in Korea. So I was just gonna do something like that. I was looking at business opportunities here, but then all of a sudden YouTube happened and I was like, I really want to do this, and I worked hard on it, and well, here I am, right? Here I am. What would you want to ask yourself? How the fuck did I get here? I had no idea I was gonna be making YouTube videos sitting in a room in the middle of Korea like 6 years ago. I had no idea. You should play Tales of Vesperia and Shadow of the Colossus. I've already played both of those. I have a playthrough of Shadow of the Colossus on the channel, and I've played Tales of Vesperia outside the channel. Both great games. Will you ever play Danganronpa? I seem to answer this like every single video, and I just want to reiterate, I've played all the Danganronpa games. They're amazing. When Danganronpa 3 comes out, perhaps I'll put it on the channel. Have you ever given up on a level that you were practicing on GD? All the goddamn time! What is your opinion on Vietnamese people? Really nice. I love Vietnam. It's a great country. I had a really good time there. Will you ever have kids? I would love to have a kid one day. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Maybe in a couple years I'll have a kid. Who knows, right? Who knows where life will take us, but I do want a kid for sure. I really do want one. Will you not gonna play Kara no Shoujo 2? I answer this all the time, but I have to answer it. I will not, because I can't. Because the developers do not want playthroughs on YouTube. I can't. If I play it, my channel will be shut down. That's the truth. I don't want my channel to be shut down, so no Kara no Shoujo 2. Or Cartogra for that matter. Will you have sex with Donald Trump or Clinton? I'm fucking done. Fuck, man! I just try to make a question and answer session for you guys, you know, to make it so you guys can ask me legitimate questions, maybe learn a little bit about my life. And I get questions like this: will you have sex with Donald Trump or Clinton? What the hell is going on? No! This isn't what this is supposed to be about. This is supposed to be a nice friendly chat about video games and my life, and fucking done. Fuck. Ah!